on to the next fight. Justin Jaynes versus Gabriel Benitez. Another one of the Ultimate Fighter. I think it was South America or something. Gabriel Benitez was part of that, I believe. Justin Jaynes, who we've seen actually fight a couple times recently. I believe 2 of his first UFC fights. The first one he did great. He fought Frank Camacho and he actually knocked him out in 41 seconds of the first round and looked very impressive. But then he fought Gavin Tucker, and I mean, he lost via rear naked choke in the third round. He gassed out over time. He was really looking for that knockout win again. He could have maybe achieved that against Gavin Tucker, but that's a little far-fetched, right? It's hard to assume you're going to be able to do that to all the guys that are already in the UFC. It's one thing to do it when you're on your way in the door. It's another thing to do it once you're inside and you're slowly working your way up. That wasn't Gavin Tucker's first rear naked choke. It was actually his second rear naked choke back-to-back. He had done that against Seung-Woo Choi as well. So, Justin Jaynes, you figure would have been ready for that, or would have seen that as part of Gavin Tucker's game. And apparently he didn't see that, even though it had happened in the fight previous to their fight. So that kind of gives me a bad impression of Justin Jaynes' fight IQ and probably even his coaching. Maybe he got caught in that situation and just wasn't ready for it. But in my opinion, if the fighter that you're fighting submits you the same way they submitted someone in their previous fight, then that's a problem, because that's something you should have expected and you clearly didn't see. But don't get me wrong, Benitez, I mean, he hasn't exactly excelled in the UFC either. Although he's had many fights, 21 wins, 8 losses, his record isn't bad. It's just that recently he's had 2 losses, and he's only won 2 of his last 5 fights. He essentially lost 1, then won 2, then lost 2. Whereas Justin Jaynes, he's won 4 of his last 5. It's just his very last fight that he lost. But there's sort of this barrier that you see, and that's that Justin Jaynes started losing as soon as he came into the UFC. And I don't mean right when he came into the UFC. He beat Frank Camacho, I understand that. But his second fight he lost, and he didn't lose it in high fashion. Of course, he went to the third round. The fight was almost over. But he did eventually just, his fight IQ level, once again, played a factor. He gassed himself out. It's not that his opponent beat him, it's that his own game plan beat himself. He can't let that happen here with Benitez. Now I have a feeling that Benitez is going to draw him out. I wouldn't be surprised. Watch it. Benitez is not going to let out too many punches in the first round. I promise you he'll be more on the defensive. He's going to hope that Justin Jaynes throws the pressure and keeps doing that. You're going to see Benitez be very quiet in the first round and be more on the defensive for sure. I can almost guarantee you that will be his game plan. Coming into the second and the third, as Jaynes gets more tired from throwing those fast, heavy punches, Benitez will capitalize by throwing in some kicks and then finally going in with punches and maybe even submitting Jaynes himself after Jaynes kind of gets tired out. I hope here Jaynes kind of comes in with a bit better of a fight IQ and mindset of conserving his gas. Who knows if he knows Benitez's game plan? I have a feeling that I do know his game plan. That being said, I'm giving the fight to Gabriel Benitez because I'm relying on the fact that Benitez and his team knows what to predict from Jaynes better than Jaynes and his team can predict what to expect from Benitez. So once again, look for Benitez to kind of not overexert himself in the first round and allow Jaynes to bring in some pressure and throw some punches, and he's going to be more on the defensive, and then he's going to slowly try to take it over in the second and third, unless he lands a lucky shot. So my final prediction will be Gabriel Benitez by decision, or no. Let's say by third round TKO after Jaynes gasses out.